As we know, role clarity is foundational to high-performing teams. It is one of those critical pieces we need to get just right to create that high-performing team. And as we know, every member of a team must play their role. It is critical. It's crucial because we are naturally inclined to want to contribute to those groups that we belong to. And that can be the work team. We naturally want to contribute. It's part of our makeup. Because when we don't contribute, then we actually know that we are taking from the team. We're not giving, we're taking. And that is why it's so important to set the role clarity right at the very beginning of someone's tenure with your business. Because when we don't get it right, it leads to chaos. There can be a lot of rework because, if you're not certain on what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be going over and over and over again something because, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing here. The other side of that is that there can also then be a lot of double up where multiple people within the team are working on the same thing, possibly not talking to each other about it, or even if they do, they want to hold on to it, whatever it might be. They think, well, I like this, I want to do it. That sort of thing can be happening. Then there can be the aspects of where a role is supposed to do something, but they're not. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they don't know about it. So others are covering. Instead of addressing the issue and getting the person to do it and letting them know, hey, this is part of your role, they're actually covering from them. All of these things lead to a lot of wasted time and effort, which is really unnecessary. It doesn't need to happen if we set that role clarity right at the beginning. And that's why it is so important that we know our role. We need to know our role. We need to understand what our role entails. What are our responsibilities in that role? What are the things that I need to attend to myself? What am I accountable for? What do I need to make sure other people are doing? The other side of this is then understanding what the accepted standard is within that role. What are the expectations around how this actually looks and how it plays out, and what is expected to be seen and achieved through this role, and how it contributes to our team and then to the broader business as well. Because it all plays a part. We may think, well, my role doesn't impact that. It actually does in some way, shape or form. We've had some real world examples recently where you have to question whether people actually knew what their role was. Some of them you might think, how could they not? Like the recent attempted assassination on Trump. Those who were supposed to protect him were being advised that, hey, we've seen a guy climbing up there with a gun. There's a guy on the roof with a gun, and no one acted. And you have to think, why didn't they act? Did they not think it was their role to do something? Was it not their role to tell whoever it was who should have been doing something? What was going on there? I mean, the outcome could have been very different. And going further on how that outcome could have been very different, because I saw it happening that morning. And when those who were charged with protecting him were trying to take him off the stage, I couldn't help but think about just how extraordinary it was that someone thought, if I put my arm up like this, that's going to protect him. There were a number of times there, if there was someone else with a gun, they easily could have had another go because he was exposed. So I really thought there were gaps there in how they played their role, and there was a number of them there. Easy to say because I wouldn't be in that position myself. And I didn't see this one, but it was passed on to me that at the recent opening ceremony for the Olympics, there was a flag that was upside down. I'm not sure why we would put a flag upside down, but surely there would be an expectation that we will make sure these are right. You know, those are those sorts of standards that we expect to see. The other side that I suppose we should acknowledge in all of this is even though someone may have a role, they've been recruited into it, promoted into it, however it may have turned out, it doesn't mean that everything we need to do in that role will be natural to us or sit within our strengths. It may not. And that is, you know, that's not unusual. There are always things that we may need to learn. So sometimes we need to actually slow down and take the time to understand each of the nuances and the parts of our role that we have responsibilities for and accountabilities for, and work out how we're going to be able to deliver on them. And that means we might need to adapt if necessary, because we can't always keep doing things the same way, or we can't just ignore the fact that I've actually got to do that, but I don't like it, or I don't think I do well at it, so I'm just going to leave it. That's not even within the realms of reality. And the reality is, as I've said right at the beginning, you know, this role clarity and each of us knowing our role is critical to being a high-performing team. It is crucial. And when we don't get it right, it can actually cripple a team when we haven't done it well. So maybe something to think about. How well have you done role clarity within your team? You know, does everyone actually know what their role is? Do they know what's expected of them and the standard that must be delivered for the team to be able to deliver together? If it hasn't been done well and there's pain and suffering, is now the time to do something about it.